Roswell 1947, Mystery from the Skies of New Mexico. In July 1947, in the southern part of New Mexico, USA, a barren land of distant mountain ranges and endless desert, the summer heat hung heavy over a quiet landscape. Yet within just a few days, the area would become the center of rumors, newspaper headlines, and military reports, and to this day remains one of the most famous UFO mysteries in history. A stormy night and a distant explosion. On July 2, 1947, many Roswell residents reported seeing a bright object streaking across the sky, accompanied by the sound of an explosion or impact in the distance. Some described it as a flying disc, while others simply mentioned a bluish-white light tearing through dark storm clouds. The next morning, William Mack Brazel, a rancher about 75 miles, 120 kilometers, from Roswell, went to check on his sheep after the previous night storm. On a remote field, he found strange debris, thin, lightweight metal strips that could not be bent or broken, ribbon-like material marked with unusual symbols resembling hieroglyphs, and shiny metallic sheets that could be folded without leaving creases. The military steps in. On July 7th, Brazel reported the discovery to the local sheriff, and the information quickly reached the Roswell Army Airfield, RAF. The base commander at the time, Colonel William Blanchard, immediately dispatched a recovery team to collect the debris. On July 8th, the public was stunned when newspapers published an official military statement. The RAF has captured a flying disc on a ranch near Roswell. The announcement aired on radio, appeared in print, and spread rapidly across the United States. But just hours later, a new statement was issued. It was only a fallen weather balloon. Accompanying the announcement were photographs of Air Force officers standing beside debris made of wooden sticks, tinfoil, and rubber, looking nothing like Brazel's original description. A sudden change of story and rising suspicion. The abrupt reversal sparked suspicion. Why would the military initially confirm a flying disc, only to replace it with weather balloon within a day? Some civilian witnesses, including Brazel's neighbors and even a few military personnel, claimed they had seen materials unlike anything from that era. Lightweight, ultra-durable, and marked with strange symbols. Others went further, saying they saw the bodies of small gray creatures transported away along with the wreckage. The scientific and military context of 1947. To understand the event, we must consider the historical background. In 1947, World War II had just ended and the Cold War was beginning. The U.S. was testing various new surveillance technologies. One secret program, Project Mogul, used high-altitude balloons carrying devices to detect sound waves from Soviet nuclear tests. These balloons used radar-reflective strips and special materials, different from ordinary weather balloons. The official U.S. Air Force explanation, reaffirmed in 1994, is that the debris found by Brazel was part of Project Mogul. However, this doesn't fully account for reports of indestructible materials or strange symbols. The alien stories. Decades later, the Roswell story gained even more extraordinary details. Some alleged witnesses, claiming to be medics or guards at the base, said they saw the bodies of 3 or 4 small, gray-skinned beings with large heads and black eyes. Others claimed they were threatened by the military to remain silent. UFO researchers and journalists, such as Stanton Friedman, collected these testimonies, fueling the belief that the U.S. government had covered up a UFO crash. However, most of these accounts are secondhand, lack physical evidence, and rely on memories recalled many decades later. Why Roswell remains mysterious. 3 main reasons keep the Roswell incident alive in public imagination. Contradictory official statements. The shift from flying disc to weather balloon within one day created a lasting sense of cover-up. The strange materials described. Even if it was from Project Mogul, witness descriptions of unusual materials remain intriguing. The historical moment. The late 1940s was the peak of flying saucer fever in the U.S., with many UFO reports making headlines, making the Roswell story explode in popularity. Scientific analysis and possible explanations. If we set aside embellishments, the possible explanations include Project Mogul Balloon Official Theory. fits the location and timing, explains the lightweight materials, metal strips, and mark tape. Crash of an experimental aircraft or device, possible, but with little supporting evidence. Extraterrestrial craft, no physical proof exists, but cannot be 100% ruled out given current evidence. Misunderstanding and collective imagination. Memories of the materials and creatures may have been shaped by popular culture and repeated retellings. Roswell in popular culture. Since the 1970s, Roswell has become an icon of UFO lore and government secrecy in films, books, and video games. The town now embraces the legend with a UFO museum, festivals, and souvenir shops featuring the classic gray alien image. The event has gone far beyond a simple crash. It has become part of the collective imagination about the possibility of life beyond Earth. Conclusion: between truth and legend. Over 75 years later, Roswell remains a subject of debate. For scientists, the Project Mogul balloon is the most plausible explanation. For UFO believers, it's proof we have been visited. The truth may be simpler than we think, or far more complex than any theory so far. But one thing is certain: Roswell has ignited the curiosity of millions and fed humanity's timeless question: are we alone in the universe?